everybody. Welcome, everybody. It's good to be here. It's good to be with you all. I just want to shout out that image that you were watching on the countdown video. That was from artist Shundun Desba Nakai. I'll put her name in the chat. And she is the first artist to commit to the project that we were working on tonight. This is a joint effort of Field Team 6 and CD2, BlueCD2 New Mexico, which is a partner of Field Team 6 for the last couple of years. And we have done some wonderful things together, which you will hear about a little later. But tonight is a fundraiser specifically to raise money to give stipends to Native American artists to create art for registration and get out the vote. So we'll use it on postcards, we'll use it on social media ads, etc. But we want to be able to raise the money so that we can give up to 10 different Native American artists $1,500. And so that's the goal tonight. And I will ask my team to keep an eye on the total in Act Blue as we go tonight, so we can report back on where we get in the fundraising. In fact, Jason, if you wouldn't mind pulling it up so that when I throw to you, you can just give a report right at the top here of where we're starting at. So, but that's the goal. That's the goal tonight, raise $15,000. I think we can do it. I would like to now introduce Jane Wood for a prayer.
Ado edin hatchen hitso ken hinale kedo ni masani cheni chodene das lo slabe katahanes kreis hat ja das ja da hot de ashonen tabesle do di shigni ado hons indi na halon chin na hons edo ke ado edi bi art abeli che huin la ni che hons ni don ha haben sin teston ha heliande ke ha do le Ado edi kun nenda hadi art and juno bekayada hot eonda to ado ebe ket mate don de chira ken juno ye do bekada nes gre do besyada hot eo be je nan juno ben sokis dan juno ni baten do ka ado ne ha attention da no kostobe slide ebe ke Hojona ha dotle adi no e kudon start adilzen ko e ya hojona ha dotle hojona ha sti. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. Appreciate that. Okay, so I want to start first with a little biography of Field Team 6, so you know who we are and what we do. And for that, I'm going to turn it over for a very brief you have 2 minutes, Jason. I'm going to turn it over to Jason Berlin, who's the founder of Field Team 6. He's going to give us a 2-minute version of who Field Team 6 is and what we do. And then he's going to turn it over to Sharon, who is our postcarding czar, and she's going to talk about specifically our postcarding campaigns.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jason Berlin, founder of Field Team 6, and our stated mission since we began a few weeks after the 2018 midterms is registered Democrats save the world. We are a volunteer army, and we've been doing just that. In total, since we started, we have delivered 2.3 million Democratic and independent voters, the vast majority in swing districts and states. We do this all year, every year, and we do this. We have to give all credit, share all credit for everything we do with our amazing partners, including BlueCD2 New Mexico, an incredible partner who is so thorough and smart and energetic and brings so much good to the fight. So just want to say, so we do this proudly partisan voter registration. We just want to talk for a second about the power of the Native American vote. Most people don't know that Native American votes were so decisive and crucial, and that we would not have President Biden and Vice President Harris, and by the way, Secretary of the Interior Deb Haaland, if not for Native American votes. Just for example, in Arizona, where Navajo Nation came out en masse and was decisive in flipping Arizona blue at so many levels, including, for not only for Biden Harris, but also for Governor Katie Hobbs, who defeated deranged psychopath Carrie Lake. And just keeping it purely objective here, and Chris Mays and others. So we're here, whatever brings you here, whether it is Native American rights or abortion rights, LGBTQ plus rights, civil rights, affordable healthcare, affordable college or housing, climate rescue, gun violence prevention, or even just trying to save democracy itself. The only way to push all these causes forward is to elect more Democrats. And the number one way to do that is to register more Democrats to vote. And that's what we're all here to do. Our goal this time, of course, is to win, not in a nail biter. We've been there, done that. It's great. We're over it. This November, we need to vote in numbers too big to suppress and win by margins too big to contest. This November, we need to shut them down and say in one strong voice, yes to the rights of everyone we love, everyone, and yes to democracy. If anyone can do it, it's all of us here. So let's go.
That is correct. That is correct. All right. So now I would like to introduce Sharon Lords Greenspan, who is our postcard team lead. In 2021, we had a whole bunch of data and no money. And Sharon had an idea. Sharon, tell us what it was.
I will take it from here. That was a great segue. So prior to 2020, Field Team 6 was an all in-person operation. And for some reason in 2020, we had to pivot very quickly to an all digital voter registration operation. And I was working with the organization at the time and had been postcarding with many activist groups. As we all know, postcarding is really popular with volunteers, particularly introverts. And we believe it certainly acts as a gateway drug to other forms of activism. So my partner Janet Ho and I launched the Field Team 6 postcarding program in March of 2021. And the ways in which our postcarding program is different match a lot of the ways in which Field Team 6 is different. We provide micro-targeted, vetted, partisan messaging. We remove as many barriers to entry as possible, and that is for potential registrants as well as our volunteers. And we aim to make our postcards as attractive as they are persuasive. So our leadership reached out to, and we were lucky enough to be able to partner with artists like Shepard Fairey, who created the Obama Hope poster. He allowed us to use some of his artwork. Jim McMullen, who's one of my kids' favorite children's book illustrators and also in Vanity Fair, New York Magazine, Colorado photographer Jamie Rogers, and a sketch artist that Jason and I met at a women's march named Deborah Ashheim. And we got them to create postcards for us that we hoped would be eye-catching enough to make someone want to read the message and maybe even hang it on their refrigerator. So to give you an idea of how the program has grown, in 2021, we started in March of that year. Our volunteers and partner groups sent out an average of 23,468 postcards per month. And this year, 2024, which is only 3 months and some change old, people are fired up. We are averaging 118,694 postcards a month and nearly 30,000 postcards a week. As of today, I did math today, everybody. We've sent out a total since our inception of 2,045,489 postcards since we started in 2021.
All right, you heard it there. You heard it there. And so my goal, folks, is I would like to raise $15,000 tonight, and I would like to make that 2 million number be postcards to Native Americans. There is no reason why we can't send 2 million postcards to Native Americans. And so that's the goal. And we're going to start with paying the artists $1,500 each to create a postcard, an art for social media, etc. And that's what we're doing tonight. So I'm going to check in with where we are with the fundraising so far. Jason, do you have Act Blue open? Can you tell us how much we've raised so far?
I do. So far, we have raised $695.
$695. Okay, so we just have a little ways to go. So don't worry, we're gonna get there, everybody. But we have about 14,000 and some change. I don't really do math on the fly in order to get to $15,000, but we can do it. All right, so Kala has a great point in the chat. You don't have to just write a check yourself. You can also send the link, which is in the chat, to friends right now. So anybody here who has friends, and I know you all do, send the link and we'll raise the money with them as well. All right, terrific. So now I would like to introduce Rochelle, who is the founder and co-chair of BlueCD2 New Mexico, to tell us about this organization.
Well, I'm just going to say a few words for those of you who haven't been with us before about BlueCD2. We're an all-volunteer group organized as a federal PAC focused on holding this district for Democrats. And we set out to flip CD2 from a Republican extremist in 2022. Our work contributed to Gabe Vasquez's win. To build up Democrats in the district, we do two things. We register new Democrats and Democratic-leaning independents, and we reach infrequent registered voters and persuade them to vote. In 2021 and 22, we partnered with Field Team 6 to register as many new Democratic voters as possible. Our postcard volunteers sent out almost 100,000 postcards. And as a result, 5,000 people who received postcards from us registered to vote. 2,508 of them voted in 2022. Gabe won by 1,336 votes. So you can see how important that voter registration drive, reaching out to potential Democrats with postcards and multiple other touches like social media and programmatic ads turned out to be. Again, here are the results. We reached 30,000 unregistered Democratic-leaning prospects, and we registered 5,000 of them. We know that 2,508 of them voted. Gabe Vasquez, our Democratic now representative, won by 1,346 votes. And I just want to reiterate what Jason said. We don't want another squeaker like that. Let's go to the next slide. We also sponsored a program initiated and led by a Mescalero Apache elder, Donna Lynn Torres, and her artist grandson to increase turnout among registered voters on the reservation using postcards, yard signs, and billboards. We have anecdotal reports, not data, but people who were at that election reported a turnout increase from 200 in the previous election to about 600 in the November midterm. So that's triple. It tripled the turnout from those anecdotal reports. I want to thank everyone for being with us this evening. Can we go to the next slide? And just a few words about your donations. We have donors who give $3. We have donors who give $3,000. Please give whatever you are comfortable giving, and together we can make this wonderful program happen. I'm very excited about the potential for this, especially showcasing Native artists to a national audience, which is what Field Team 6 is going to be able to do. And I just received an unexpected gift, and I'm going to pass it on with a $1,000 donation. I'm going to turn it over to you, Dale, or whoever's next, and go over here and get on the link.
Thank you so much, Rochelle. That is wonderful. I'm just updating my screen right now so we can see where we are in the fundraising. And let's see, we are up to 2145, and that would make it 3145 with your donation. Thank you so much, Rochelle. That is very kind. I'm excited that we're already 3145 towards our goal of $15,000. Let's keep going. This is exciting. Okay, at this point, I would like to introduce Aleta Tweedy Paisano Suazo.
Guadzi Haupa. Hello, everybody. My name is Aleta Paisano Suazo, but I'm better known as Tweety. I'm from the pueblos of Acoma and Laguna. Next slide. A lot of the information I'm going to talk about is information that I have received from my work in New Mexico. However, it's information that can be looked at and the same kind of challenges in areas and other tribes, not just New Mexico. Currently, there are 574 registered tribes within the United States. And I've got some pictures of some tribes. Next slide. As you can see, the area in yellow are all of the areas that are federally recognized. The area in gray do not have U.S. federally recognized tribes. They may have state recognized tribes, but not federally recognized tribes. Next slide. With regard to New Mexico, we have the Apaches. We've got the Mescaleros down in the south and the Jicarillas up north. We've got our Navajo Dene relatives, mainly in the Four Corners area. We have chapters in Alamo, Canyon, Cita, and Rama. With regard to the Pueblos, we've got Northern Pueblos, Nambe, Poaki, Picaris, San Juan, San Ildefonso, Santa Clara, Taos, and Tesuque. Central Pueblos, we've got Cochiti, Jemez, Kiwa, formerly Santo Domingo, Sandia, San Felipe, Santa Ana, Zia. The Western Pueblos are Acoma, Laguna, and Zuni, and Isleta is just right south of Albuquerque. Next slide. As you can see here are the areas where the tribes are located within New Mexico. There is Navajo Nation up in the upper left-hand corner. And then the tribes, there's Jicarilla to the north, Mescalero to the south, and a lot of the Pueblos right in the middle. Next slide. Tribal sovereignty. Tribal sovereignty is the concept that each tribe has the inherent right of power to govern itself within the borders of the U.S. with certain established federal limitation. This concept is not granted by any other authority, but is recognized by the Constitution, federal laws, and treaties. Tribal sovereignty allows tribes to honor and preserve their cultures and traditional ways of life, as well as to exercise certain jurisdiction and governmental powers over activities and tribal members within their territories. However, tribal sovereignty is also subject to violations and limitations by the U.S. government or the United States. Next slide. So, what are some of the challenges? Well, some of the challenges, and we really saw that, and that was exercised to the max, was when the pandemic hit, the closures that the tribes exercised on their tribal lands. Some challenges also on tribal lands is the appointment of tribal leaders on a yearly basis. In the Pueblos here in New Mexico, there's probably, of the 19, there's probably only 5 Pueblos that elect their tribal leaders. The rest of them are appointed usually on a yearly basis. Working with people in charge could change yearly depending on how often the administration changed. The tribe may not also have an appointed person in charge of the voting activities in their community. In a lot of smaller tribes, the tribal secretary may oversee those particular efforts in terms of the voting activities in their community. In addition, especially, well, this happens a lot in the Pueblo communities, but there are certain religious activities that happen throughout the year. And those activities are done and conducted on a religious calendar. And when that happens, sometimes it necessitates when the Pueblo is closed. And when that happens, of course, it's not publicized. And the closure of the Pueblo is closed to everyone with the exception of tribal members. So those are some of the challenges we've seen in the community. Next slide. Now, what are some of the challenges to voter registration? In the rural areas, there may not be a voter registration location that is close. There may not be or there may not be commuter voter registrars, or if so, very few, if we have any, in the tribal offices. It also could be a lack of transportation. Not every individual in our Native communities have a vehicle and an area or an opportunity to get from one place to another. We all know when the pandemic hit, the lack of internet access that hit a lot of tribal communities. And in our rural communities, it can also be language. There are some tribal communities where a lot of the tribal members do still speak their native language. In the urban area, some of the challenges to voter registration, it's really hard to identify our Native brothers and sisters, especially in the urban area. We've been able to try to identify maybe through the school district if they have an event, but other than that, it's really hard to identify who they are. And it's even harder, especially when there's no urban Indian center available for them to meet and congregate. In addition, we have, unfortunately, a lot of our families that have moved. They're moving continuously, either within the city to the reservation, or the reservation to the city. Also, just because they live in the city, a lot of our families also do not have the transportation needed to maybe get to a place to register to vote. And unfortunately, we have Native families in a lot of our urban areas who are homeless. Next slide. The GOT effort challenges are pretty much the same. In the rural areas, just because the tribe is there, the reservation is there, you do not have permission to just enter the reservation. You really need to get permission before you go on to the reservation to either canvass or to register voters. Also, there may be a distance for them to get to a voting location, especially as you saw earlier, the land base and location of the Navajo Nation, it's huge. So they may have a problem in getting to a voting location. And because they are a large tribe with a large land base, there may be road problems, and which could hinder them getting to a place to vote. In addition to no transportation, and just our elderlies also may have some type of transportation. But just because they have the transportation there does not mean that they have the means to drive themselves to get to a voting place or location. Within the urban area, as I said before, it's hard to identify our native voters. We still have the continued moving within the city, city to reservation, reservation to city, and lack of transportation, and of course the homelessness, which I had mentioned earlier. Next. At the beginning of last year in 2023, New Mexico passed the Voting Rights Act. Now, how is that going to affect, or how did it affect our tribes here in New Mexico? Well, it gave them the ability to use a chapter house or any public tribal or Pueblo building as an address for a mail ballot. It gave them the ability to vote by mail and to be placed on a permanent ballot list. Easy online registration with the possible use of satellite phones in remote places. Increased collaboration between tribal leaders and election clerks. Provided much needed resources for polling places and secure drop boxes. County clerks are now required to make in-person voting available to people living on the pueblos or reservations. Tribal members who were felons have the right to vote upon release of incarceration. Next slide. Now, in 2020, the Native American Democratic Caucus of New Mexico assisted in 2 postcard campaigns. We did one in Sandoval County. Sandoval County is, I think, in addition to one county in San Diego, California, have the most tribes in the one county. We have a total of 9 tribes in Sandoval. We did this postcard campaign with the Democratic Party of Sandoval County, the Democratic Party of New Mexico, and as I said before, the party, the Native American Democratic Caucus. In Sandoval County, we received 6,000 more votes than Trump. The Pueblos and the chapters played a major role in this win. 3,683 or 57% of that 6,400 came from Pueblos and chapters, even though 61% of the tribes turned out due to lockdowns. So, also 84% of the voters in Pueblos and chapters voted for Biden. In CD2, we also, the Native American Democratic Caucus, got together with My Native Sisters Fire and with the Democratic Party and identified and sent postcards, as you can see, like the one below, to the Pueblos of Acoma, Aleta, Laguna, and Zuni Pueblos, to the chapters of Alamo, Rema, and Tohajali, and also to the Mescalero Apaches. All of these tribes were located, are located in CD2. And I think in the last, I just wanted to thank, go ahead, the last, or is this it? Okay. I just wanted to thank everybody listening to my presentation. I'm hoping that I provided some information that will be of value to you. I've got some pictures of some of the people that we worked with. When we were out trying to register and get the vote out. So I thank you. And if you have any questions, I would be glad to try to answer them. Thank you. Tawad.
Thank you so much, Tweety. I'd like to keep you on screen here just for a second and ask my team if we've had any questions in the chat for you. This would be a great time to do a short Q&A. If we do have any questions, while we're waiting to see if we do have any questions, I just would like to say thank you so much. That is super valuable information, and I would love to collaborate with you and with other organizations that are working with Native Americans to make sure that our messaging is accurate, is sensitive, is appropriate when we put together the postcarding campaigns that we plan to do with these Native American artists postcards. So I would love to take you up on your wisdom and advice as we go forward, and also introductions to anybody else that you think we should be talking to, because I know that there are so many different tribal peoples and different tribes that have different messaging, that have different needs, and so we should be being as sensitive as we can be when we're sending these targeted postcards out. So thank you for that, Tweety. Okay, so any questions in the chat? And we can always come back for Q&A at the end too, if there's nobody who's come up with a question so far, and it seems like we haven't.
No questions yet. I did just want to mention, it does seem that a couple people have noticed that there's a problem with the donation link. That may be on your end. It is working. If you see someone else's information there, you would click the blue edit link. It's worked for me, and a couple other people are donating, so it's definitely working. So if there is another person's name in the field, thank you, Mary, then it might be that someone else has used your computer or something else like that. I don't know, Rochelle, if you have other information and that's why you raised your hand, but please feel free to contribute. Thanks.
I don't know about the link, but I did ask Jane to offer her comments on barriers to voting on the Navajo reservation, whatever she can tell us about that. Thank you so much, Tweety, for that presentation. It was very informative.
Okay, perfect. So before we go to Jane, I just want to bring everybody into the loop on how much we've raised so far. Just a reminder, everyone, we are attempting to raise, and we will raise $15,000 tonight. And so far, we have raised $45.85. 45.85. And Marty, if you're still having trouble donating, we'll figure that out. Even if it means you Venmo me and I donate on your behalf. So we'll make that happen. But 45.85, that is great news that we have raised that much already. So terrific. Let's go to Jane. She's listed as Alexis Wood on her screen to talk about the barriers that are in that neighborhood.
Okay, I lived in the city for 30 plus years, and then a couple of years ago I moved back. But before then, when I wanted to vote, I had to take a day off because there was no voting outlets near us, and you have to vote in your home chapter. Mine was in Nosh City, which is about 220 miles away from Albuquerque. So I would have to take the whole day off, come down here, wait in line, vote, turn around, and go home. And that was an all-day process. Or I had to get an absentee vote, and it would have to be mailed to me. I had to wait, fill it out, and send it back. Sometimes it didn't make it back because the mailing system here on the Navajo Nation is so sporadic, you would say. Sometimes it's delivered at 9 in the morning, sometimes it's delivered at 3, sometimes it's not delivered at all, depending on weather. The biggest factor right now that we're fighting is wind right now, up to 70 miles per hour sometimes, and it pushes semis off the highway, flips RVs and stuff. But when I did move home and when I ran for office, one of the big thing was addresses. Navajo Nation does not have addresses or streets or road names. We go by uh, I guess a ditch, a road. A lot of it is in Navajo. When people do explain it to you, it is in Navajo, and it's not. Sometimes it's not easily translated into English. Um, in ours, we happen to live next to Twitticoalish. It's a well. It's called bitter water or sour water, and that's what when we tell people that's where we're from. We tell them we're at the base of the mountain by the well called Twitticoalish, and that's how. And so it's a lot of the rural addressing is hard. You have to go house to a affidavit or a letter of residency from the chapter. It has to be notarized, and that's how you end up getting an address. The other thing is weather. A lot of the voting happens late in the beginning of winter, and so that hinders a lot of our voters. So especially with the elders, who wants to be out there when it's cold, And another thing that would hinder us is religious events that happen um, on voting days. If we have a religious event, anything from a healing ceremony in our area, not many people are going to show up at the voting booths. Like an eclipse, we will not. Navajos will not go out until it's totally done and the prayers are done. The roads will be empty. So if it ever happens, I'm sure you won't get much votes out of the Navajo Nation. And a lot of the another thing is some of our elderlies were born at home. They don't have birth certificates. They don't have IDs. They are known by their grandparents and their grandfathers' names. Like for us, our grandparents, my mom's name is Irene Fahy. It means, it belongs to somebody. And then our grandfather's name was Dan Benitzega, Dan Whitehorse. So it's a description. It's not even, you know, something that you could hold on to. Everything on the Navajo Nation is oral. It's not like we have it written down. Everything is customary. Shake hands, and you stick to that. And we throw obstacles in our own way, I guess. But those are some of the issues that we do have, and traveling is one of them. And so what we do is we feed our voters, regardless of who they vote for. We have food for them. We have water for them. Some people still show up on donkeys. Some people still show up on horseback. Last year, 2 years ago, when we ran for office, we had a wagon full of elderly come off the mountain to vote, and they end up busting a wheel because it was muddy and rocky. So these are obstacles that hinder a lot of the younger people because they don't want to go wait in line at the chapter house to get a residency letter, and then they have to find a bill in their name to get an ID, and then for that ID to be valid, they have to be over the age of 18. So it's not like as easy as it would be in a city. A lot of these kids that are being raised by their grandparents who don't speak English. So that's another thing. It's the kids teaching their grandmas and their grandfathers how to fill out their applications, and they kind of just dictate what goes on those letters. So that's some of the issues that we do have, and we're hoping that with the pandemic being over, our community is still being hit heavily with RSV. The transfers of those from elderly to elderly is high because our elderly gather every day to eat at the senior center because a lot of them are left home alone. So this is where they go to eat and socialize just for the 2 hours. Do you guys have any questions?
Yes, if anyone has any questions, please put them in the chat, and we can come back at the end for a quick Q&A. Thank you, Jane, for that. That's super insightful and very moving. Appreciate you sharing that, and that information is super helpful. Okay, so at this point, I just want to give us a quick update on where we are fundraising wise. We have raised $46.85, and I also want to put in the chat. We have a partisan voter registration portal, which is called voterizer.org. And you can, if you click on that link in the chat, you can see that our first artist who created a postcard for us is featured on the front page of that. And then there's also specific language about how the Biden administration and the Democrats have been helping fund Native American projects on Native American lands. So this is a QR code that can go on the postcards that we are going to be creating from the artists that we're raising money for tonight. So if any of this appeals to you, get out that checkbook, write that big check, add a zero, or credit cards even better. That goes right to, by the way, you can write a check on the ActBlue page. If you don't have a credit card or you're not comfortable putting your credit card number in, you can click on there. There's a link that will take you to the Field Team 6 website, and it'll give you instructions on where to send a check. You'll just put Native Art for Native Votes in the memo line, and we'll count that towards this project. So don't worry. If you're interested, we'll figure out a way to get the money from you to us, and we'll do this. We'll do this right. Okay. At this point, I would like to go back to Rochelle, who is going to show us some samples from artists who are interested in participating. And so if you are interested in any of these artists and the work that they're doing, you can see where this project is going right now. And the only thing that's stopping us from getting there are donations. So we're 46.85 there. We can get there. Let's go. Okay, Rochelle, what do you have?
We have some beautiful work from, I think, about 5 artists. So I want to first thank Shundin Nakai for doing the illustration that kicked us off.
Absolutely.
And, yeah. And it's quite a broad spectrum from a number of, representing a number of tribes. This is from Shundin Nakai, and she's Dene. Joseph Schwebach, who's Laguna, and I believe Joseph is Tweety's nephew.
Yes.
And many of these artists sent us multiple images, and we just chose a few to look at tonight. Nacha Mendez Chinle, I'm not sure how to say that middle word, Apache. Rosemary Bear Meskwaki, and Rosemary is with us this evening. Thank you, Rosemary. Anthony, can somebody help me out with that?
Got you is his last name.
Got you, thank you. A Zuni artist, a beautiful image. And Makaya Maston, who's Hupa, Yurok, and Karak. These are examples of the artists that we would like to commission to create this work.
Thank you so much, Rochelle. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's, at this point, let's roll a video of a Native American artist, G. Precious, with OK Wenge.
I'm gonna sit here and take this time to write down the troubles and relieve my mind. I know many of you feel like me, wondering what happened to freedom of speech. Living in a world dominated by men, Indian women living in a world of oppression. Sometimes it feels like a third world country, starving for freedom, food for the hungry. Our soldiers overseas fighting the war. We got a war here, America, look out your back door. I know when this song hits the fans, I'll probably get banned, denied by the man. And we rise, rise, rise. And we rise, rise, rise. As I sit here thinking of all the soldiers, my Indian women, we're the new tribal warriors. Children in one arm, in the other, got a job and education. On our backs we carry the Indian nation. I look at my life, I had strong Indian women. I know I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. I stand tall and I won't back down from no man and no fight. I'll stand my ground, paint my face and give me a bowl for my people. I will give my soul. It don't matter to me if I stand alone. In the end, the truth will be shown. You'll see it in my eyes. I never lie. I'll stay true to myself till the day I die. You know that I know you're hearing me every single day. You show your fear of me. And we rise, 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 and we rise, and we rise, rise, rise. My children, take a good look around. Don't let anybody put you down. This world is full of jealousy and hate. Know the real and be wary of the fake. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Just know in your circle there's always a poser. The system is corrupt, people passing judgment. The sad thing is the same passing punishment. If you're different and got a mind of your own, you ain't a puppet or a mind to control. They'll do whatever, make you an outcast, lie about you and put your life on blast. I'm living proof. Take a good look at me, the Pueblo revolt of 2014. My native warriors, it's time for a change. Take a stand in your future, engage. And we rise, 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 and we rise, and we rise, rise, rise. You know, there's a lot of things going on right now that I don't agree with. It's time for a change. My Indian women and children, rise.
We are up to 5390. By the way, I come from the film industry, and so we sit through the credits because all of these people worked hard on that video, and we should watch all of the names go by. Thank you for that. That was a great song. All right, 5390. Let's get to 6,000. Who wants to get to 6,000? Let's go.
Yeah.
All right, I think we might have. Oh, Marty is telling me that singer is a Grammy-nominated singer. That's terrific to know. 5390. Okay, the link is in the chat to donate. If you've already donated, don't be afraid. Donating twice is a good thing. No amount is too much. That's what my friend Wayne likes to say. Fantastic. Okay. Let's see. I believe that there were a couple of questions in the chat. Kali, can you help me out?
Yes. One moment.
Oh, here we go. Dr. Kamala Tate. Gabe Vasquez, CD2, reps several Native American communities, including the sovereign communities of Laguna, Zuni, Acoma, and Aleta, Pueblos, as well as the Mescalero and Fort Sill Apache, Navajo Nation, and the Puro Tiwa. Oh, that's just an FYI. Sorry, I thought that was a question. There is no question there. That is information that we just passed along. That's terrific.
We have a question from Tamara, or Tamara. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Is there anyone from the tribes working with state legislators to find new ways of providing voting access to Native people who do not have street addresses?
Well, with the Voting Rights Act that was recently passed, there is an effort now to work with the tribes to have them get addresses so that they're able to use those. I think in a lot of rural communities right now, their only addresses were post office boxes because they had no other way. So I think that's the effort, and so working closely with the tribal governments, I think is something that with the passage of the new law is something that we're going to have to be working on, and something in progress. But yes, we will be looking to identify those individuals.
Thank you, Tweety. Okay, terrific. All right. I think this is a good time, Jason, for us to announce Field Team 6's participation in this. Would you like to do that?
Sure. Yeah. This is such an important and beautiful project that we want to stand behind it in a real way. And so at Dale's suggestion, have to give him credit. We are contributing $2,500 to this. So let's go. Let's go. There's no way but forward.
All right, I'm gonna add that into the Act Blue total right now. That's gonna bring us to. I'm using my calculator because my math skills are not great on the fly. Okay, we're up to 8,300.
Yeah.
I think we can make 8,500 in the next couple of minutes. All right. Rochelle, did you want to say anything as wrap up from CD2 Blue, New Mexico? I've gotten the words in the wrong order.
I'm just so grateful to all of the artists and to Tweety and to Jane for sharing their experience with us and working toward this goal with us.
Very grateful. Very grateful.
Yeah.
I also want to shout out, I'm not even going to use her name, but there's a volunteer on Field Team 6 side who's a Native American who helped with initial outreach to artists, who really kicked this project off. And I want to just say a thank you to her. She's rather she would prefer to remain anonymous, but she did some amazing work very early on. And then you guys have done amazing work reaching out to artists as well. So thank you for that.
And I also want to say that this doesn't have to be the end. We can pass this link around. We can continue to fundraise after we finish up this evening, and email to our friends, and money will continue to come in. That's usually how it works. Absolutely.
Absolutely will. By the way, we have a Field Team 6 newsletter and Substack going out. So I'm going to add a blurb about this event because I think it's super inspiring. And of course, it'll have the donate link. So we'll continue raising money. I am very excited that we are going to be able to provide a stipend to several artists right out of the gate to get going on creating this new postcarding series. And of course, just because we're raising the money tonight for the artists doesn't mean that that's the end of the money that we need to raise, because yes, Field Team 6 does have some data on Native Americans in our database, but I want more. I don't want to be greedy, but I want more. And so we're going to be raising money to buy more data of Native Americans as well. So, and then we'll be able to postcard them because we'll have their addresses. So this is an ongoing project. This is not a one day and then we're done kind of thing. This is part of our ongoing mission at Field Team 6. And I look forward to working with you, Rochelle, and everybody at BlueCD2 to continue to do this for months, if not years, in the future.
It's always a pleasure to partner with you to do these things, and thank you for bringing the idea to us. I think you generated this, didn't you?
I might have. I think I started talking about it in very general terms and just sort of like running it by people to see if we could get any traction. And you guys were the ones who were like, yeah, let's do it. So thank you for that. All right. So let's see. 1,500 times 6. Whoops. I did that wrong.
Can we get a final total?
If we raised $9,000, we could have 6 artists tonight.
Ooh.
Whoa,
how close did we get?
Let's see where we are. I'm updating the form right now just to see if anything has come in the last few minutes. It looks like we have raised 80, yeah, $8,505. $8,505. So if we could raise 495 more dollars, we can get that sixth artist. Shall we just stay on until we get that? Shall we just be annoying? Constance is saying yes. Tweety's nodding as well. All right, fine. Let's just stay on. Jason, what do you got in your couch cushions? What's that?
Keep chipping your quarters in.
That's right. That's right. A little bit. Marty's going to Venmo me some money. Marty, that counts. Just direct message me how much that is so that I can add that to the total. You don't have to say it out loud, but I'll add it to the total the next time I total it up. And there's donations coming in all the time. So, all right, we've got $495 to go. And we can get 6 artists started on their postcards for this program. That's super exciting, guys. That is super exciting. All right. You know, we've done different things as fundraisers over the years. There was one fundraiser where in the excitement, I actually auctioned off Jason's shirt. And he actually took it off during the fundraiser. It was a little. We're not going to do that tonight. That's just an indication of how far we're willing to go.
Thank you, buddy.
By the way, I did not let Jason know that I was going to happen. I honestly didn't know it was going to happen. But Jason, you have danced for money before. I wonder if anybody would give money. Let's say, okay, so.
We're up a little bit, by the way. We're up to $88.50.
Woohoo! $150 short.
All right. I think we've made it because I just got a direct message for another $250 pledge. So I think we did it, people.
Hey.
We've raised $9,000. We've got 6 artists that we can go out to and start this postcarding program, and we can continue, all of us, sharing. Oh, that was not a pledge. It's already in Act Blue. Sorry, okay, fine. Marty, did you tell me how much you're gonna send me? No.
We're up to $89.50.
$89.50. Really? We're $50 away. We're $50 away? Who wants to see Jason dance for $50?
You know, you don't offer yourself dancing. You offer someone else.
I'll dance with you for $50. Come on.
Dance with me.
Okay.
I want to dance with somebody.
All right. Jeff, we need some music. We need some music. What do you got?
We just got another 50 Dale from Wayne.
Okay.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, I suppose Wayne is going to insist that we dance. So I'm adding Jason to the spotlight. I'm up in the attic. I'm up in the attic, so this is going to be difficult to do.
Oh yeah, there's not really enough room for you to stand. Wait, no music?
Yep, there's no music.
Give him a minute. He's working on it. I can see.
All right. I like Mary's idea. We should all dance. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea.
I like it. It distracts from me.
Put on your gallery view, everybody.
Wait, I'm also getting bids for, they'll pay us if we won't dance. All right. Well,
that's not very nice. That's not very nice. Be team players.
All right, Jeff, hit it.
Hello, housekeeping.
It has to be worth something.
Yes, it is.
My belly's barking.
Woo! All right, we did it, everybody. We did it. Thank you so much. Thanks everybody for coming. That was super fun. I'm excited about this project, and let's keep going. Share that link around, and let's get the other $6,000 so that we can get the rest of the artists participating as well. The more artists we can get involved in this, the better. Wouldn't you like to give a Native American artist a chance to up their profile by having their postcard out there. We're gonna put their names on each postcard. They're gonna get more followers on their Instagram account. They're gonna get more people coming to their website. It's gonna be great. This is gonna help make more art in the world. Marty's raising her hand. You're muted, Marty. You're muted. You're still muted.
She can't. I have to
I
ask.
was not allowed to. I
Oh
had
dear.
permission. If any of you, okay, so we have right now the 6 artists you saw. We
Yeah.
have them covered. I don't have any more at the moment. Therefore, if any of you know people or know people who know people, one of the people we have is Tweety's nephew.
Yeah.
And we're spreading the word. So we need to both, if we raise more money, we can pay more artists. If we have more artists, we might
when we raise more money, Marty, we're going to need more artists.
Right now,
That's
we're ready
terrific.
to go with 6 artists.
All right, terrific. Okay, so I like this call to action. It's not just sharing that link to get more money donated. It's also reaching out to Field Team 6. That's Dale at fieldteam6.org, or Rochelle, or Marty, or Constance, anybody on the BlueCD2 team with ideas and connections to Native American artists. And by the way, we love young artists as well. So if you know a young artist who's just starting out, that's terrific. We love that. We love to be part of like getting somebody started. So anyway, reach out to us and we will follow up. Right, Marty?
Well, yes, but let me just say, I have been the contact for everybody that we've got so far. What I really want is for people to have the artists contact me, because I'm not in the business of going and recruiting.
Very good. Okay,
but I am in the business of keeping it moving once I have somebody.
All right. So I'm going to put your email in the chat, Marty, and then we're going to call it a day.
I will put it in there for you.
I have an update.
Yes.
We broke 10,000. We're $10,230.
You know what I think that was? I think that was the dancing.
That was paying us to stop dancing. My dogs went nuts barking. Amazing.
All right. You all have
awesome.
your marching orders. Reach out to Marty. Her email is in the chat. If you have any connections to Native American artists, we'd love to add more people to the list. And 26 of us raised $10,000. That is amazing. Okay. Terrific work, everybody. Thank you for being here. Love you all. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you. Thank you so much.